Okay, let's look at page 3. For sine, cosine, and tangent, remember SOHCAHTOA. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is opposite over adjacent. So on 26, if you're going to do sine, cosine, and tangent, what you have to do first is find that missing side, QR. And we know now that to find a missing side, we actually use the Pythagorean theorem. So on this one, we're going to have a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared, or 256 plus 900 is c squared. Okay, let's take the square root on both sides, and we'll get c is equal to 34. So QR is 34. Now, let's start with angle Q. The sine of Q is opposite, directly opposite of this angle is 30 over the hypotenuse, which is 34. This will reduce by 2 to give us 15/17. Cosine is adjacent, which is 16 over the hypotenuse, 34. This also will reduce by 2 to give us 8/17. Tangent is opposite over adjacent, which is 30 over 16. This will reduce by 2 to give us 15/8. Now looking at angle R, the sine is opposite, which will be 16 over your hypotenuse of 34. 16 over 34 will reduce by 2 to give us 8/17. The cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, or 30 over 34. This will reduce to give us 15/17. And tangent is opposite over adjacent, which is 16/30. This will reduce to 8/15. Notice the sine of Q is equal to the cosine of R, and the sine of R is equal to the cosine of Q. When you switch from one acute angle to the other, your opposite and your adjacent switch. The only thing that can't switch is the hypotenuse. And of course, the tangents are reciprocals of one another for that very reason. So number 27, we're looking for x. So in relation to 54 degrees, x is opposite of it, and 9 is adjacent. We know that to be the tangent. So the tangent of 54 degrees is equal to the opposite over the adjacent. So this is my equation. In order to solve it, I need to get x by itself, and to do that, I'll multiply both sides by 9. When you multiply 9 times the tangent of 54, you're going to get 12 4/10 for your missing side. On number 28, we have 46 degrees, so 24 is opposite. X is the hypotenuse. So opposite and hypotenuse is the sine. So the sine of 46 degrees is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse. So we need to solve by getting rid of the x. Anytime you have x in your denominator, bring it out. And then divide by the sine of 46. Okay, so 24 divided by the sine of 46 is going to give us 33 4/10. All right, when you're looking for an angle measure, I'm going to skip 29 and 30 for the sake of time. On number 31, you're looking for an angle measure. So in relation to x, we have opposite and we have hypotenuse. Okay, that again is sine. So the sine of x degrees, and you can also replace that with theta, is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse. Anytime you want to go from the opposite to the hypotenuse, you need to use your inverse function or your arc sine. So we'll have sine -1 of 23/24. Okay, plug that into your calculator and you'll get x is 73 4/10 degrees. On 32, looking for x, you'll notice this is opposite and this is adjacent. That's the tangent of x. Okay, that's equal to opposite over adjacent. That's 10/13. So to find out what the angle measure is, we're going to do the inverse function of 10/13. Plug that into your calculator and you'll get 37 6/10 degrees. Here we have opposite and hypotenuse. That's going to be the sine of x is equal to 30 over 39. So let's find our inverse function. Okay, the inverse sine of 30 over 39 gives us 50 3/10 degrees. Here we have adjacent and hypotenuse. Okay, so I went the wrong way. This is adjacent and this is hypotenuse. So that's going to be the cosine. So the cosine of x is equal to the adjacent over the hypotenuse. Now find the inverse function, and you'll get 19 2/10 degrees. So the town park does an outdoor movie night every Saturday during the summer on a large screen. Kate is sitting 36 feet from the base of the screen. Okay, so 36 feet. Watching a movie with her family. The angle of elevation from Kate to the top of the screen, so let's draw the top of the screen. Angle of elevation is when you are looking up. So here is our angle of elevation at 24 degrees. How tall is the movie screen? So opposite over adjacent. So the tangent of 24 degrees is equal to x over 36. Let's multiply both sides by 36. And you'll have 36 times the tangent of 24 degrees is 16.0 feet. Elijah is looking up at the top of the Washington Monument. So here's the Washington Monument, here is Elijah. So that is going to create an angle of elevation. The monument is 555 feet tall. The angle of elevation from the point on the ground, not from his eyes, the point on the ground, is 74 degrees. How far is he standing from the monument? So once again, we are dealing with tangent, opposite over adjacent. So let's move that x out of the denominator and then divide by the tangent of 74 degrees. And we'll get 555 divided by the tangent of 74 degrees is 159 1/10 feet.